It's a bad time, this time of year.
How many times is he gonna tell this story?
Oh, let him tell it. I love fairy tales.
This ain't no fairy tale, little girl. If you don't take it seriously, you're a fool!
The first Valentine's dance in 20 years has to be something special.
Oh, Flanders, you gotta get a lot of exercise if you're gonna grapple with Gretchen.
Oh, yeah? Well, I got a Valentine for her that she's never gonna forget. Right to the heart, huh?
In this town on Valentine's Day, everybody loses their heart.
Roses are red, violets are blue. One is dead, and so are you.
It can't be happening again.
Stop!
It can't be happening again.
What's going on over in Valentine Bluffs? It looks like Harry Warden's back in town.
It happened once. It happened twice. Cancel the dance or it'll happen thrice.
In the town of Valentine Bluffs, there are many ways to die. Take your pick. My Bloody Valentine.
Once upon a time, on a sad Valentine, in a place known.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to BAF. I got my my friend here, Gute, and we are going to be doing not really a hot take because this is actually an older movie, but he invited me to the experience of seeing a classic movie in the movie theater. Gute, why don't you talk about that? Because that was a fun night right there.
So I always harp in previous episodes about coming to Psycho Cinema, my experience going to all these Psycho Cinema movies, play old movies, new movies, classic movies, whatever kind of horror movies. As long as it has the 3 B's, blood, breasts, and bad decisions, qualifies for Psycho Cinema.
Yep.
So our best friend Ron right here, he said, I want to come out. So I said, My Bloody Valentine. So came out, and I think I changed his world.
Oh man,
whole movie experience.
Yes, got to enjoy myself a Royale with cheese because they actually have a menu and everything. And they actually have people come over to you and serve you drinks. I mean, alcohol, food, and everything else. I saw the menu. I saw the Royale with cheese. I was like, oh, Pulp Fiction. I'm getting that. And simple burger, and I think it was like a burger with pickles. It was good. It was fucking good. The fries were great. And I think you have like 2 Moscow Mules or something like that.
I've got more, but it's a short movie.
Yeah, I had to go to work the next day, so I didn't do any drinking. But next time I go on a Friday night, I am definitely going to be doing some drinking. But the experience was fucking great because I've actually never seen a the only classic movie I've seen in the theater was when I was a kid when I saw Star Wars: A New Hope when they came out remastered back in the THX remastered versions, stuff like that, where they redid all the graphics and everything. That was the only classic movie. So actually getting to see this, seeing My Bloody Valentine, I was like, fuck, let's go for it. And wow, made the movie experience so much better than watching it on my little screen at home. I enjoyed it. So I have to thank Gute for bringing me to that experience, and I'm looking forward to future movies. And I think we might have to make a tradition now is whenever I go see a movie with them, we're going to have to do an episode on it no matter what the fuck it is. So
yeah, the next one is next week. The Monkey. It's one of my top 5 anticipated movies for the year. I'm excited to see that movie.
Oh man, yeah, you've been talking about that one. And I know there's one I'm still waiting on seeing, and you already got the advantage of seeing is the Alien and Aliens movies in the theater. I still want to see one of those, especially Aliens, because the 1986 I would be like pumping my fist and just like, oh yes, watching this on the big screen. So hopefully someday I'll be able to get that moment. But yeah, My Bloody Valentine, man.
Yeah, so the reason why I've seen both of those in the movie theater for Psycho Cinema.
Yeah.
So we just did Aliens right before Alien Romulus.
Right.
So I'm waiting. I'm trying to get Faye and whomever the GM at the Alamo to get it, but it's just Disney owns the rights to it.
Yeah.
So kind of expensive to get unless it's like a special theme where they'll release it nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a weird. So we have to wait till that next like anniversary to get it.
Well, whenever, hopefully they get a chance to see it, get it. I mean, there's other movies I'd love to see. I'd love to see Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan in the theater. I would love to see that in the theater. I'd love to see, many of the Scorsese movies. I would love to see like Cape Fear in the theater. I mean, a Blade Runner. If Blade Runner ever shows, I would love to see that in the theater. I mean, it would be great to get that experience. But seeing
Goodfellas and like Casino.
Oh, Goodfellas in the theater? That would be amazing. Oh God, yes. I would love that. Or Interstellar. Yeah, that's not really an older movie, but I would love to see it in theaters. I never got to. And that's one of my favorites. I love that movie. Or even, Christmas movies. I wouldn't mind seeing Scrooge or Christmas Vacation in the theater or something
Every
like that.
December, its whole month is just filled with Christmas movies. All those movies you said, we always show them. Not for Psycho Cinema, but just the theater brand itself. Every December, it's like the Christmas mania. All those movies you just said.
Is Friday the 13th chapter part 4 ever been in the theater?
Oh yes.
Over there? Oh God, see that's my favorite one. That's my favorite Friday the 13th movie. I would love to see that in the theater. It's got one of the best dances in dances by Crispin Glover. Remember that?
Yeah, right before we did my first episode with you guys, I just saw that in theaters. Because whenever there's a Friday the 13th for the year or that month, we do a Friday the 13th movie.
Oh,
so in June we'll be doing one.
Do you know which one?
No, not yet, but I know for a fact since it's that Friday night and it's Friday the 13th, we always show a Friday the 13th on Friday the 13th.
I'll see either one. I'm a fan of every single one. I mean, yes, there are stinkers when it comes to the Friday the 13th films, but I still love all those movies together because I love the whole saga. Jason Takes Manhattan, bad movie, but I'll still see it in the theater. Jason Goes to Hell, I love that movie. I think it's fucking fun. A lot of people give crap about it, but just to have the experience, just like I said, he opened my world. Gute opened my world to this, and I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to future nights to watch these movies. So
perfect segue from slashers to My Bloody Valentine.
Yes, My Bloody Valentine, which was actually released on February 11th, 1981, directed by George Mihica. I think that's how you say his name. Other movies to his name that he has done is Eternal Evil, The Blue Man, Straight Line, La Florida, Watchtower. I've never heard of any of these. And then he also did something back in 2003, Evil Breed, The Legend of Samhain. I don't know. Have you ever heard of that one? Oh. I've never heard of any of them. So I assume because he's a Canadian director also.
Hey.
What was that?
That's it. Hey.
The budget for the movie was $2.3 million. The box office was $5.7 million, which is not bad actually. So it actually made some for a horror movie. It makes its money back, so it's good. The Rotten Tomatoes score was a little shocking. It got a critical score of 60% from critical, but a lower end score for user where it had a 52%. Not by much, but I was shocked that it got a lower score because this is actually a really good slasher movie. So that's really all the details I have. And I have a couple things I want to talk about in the movie, but oh man, this was great. This was a fun experience. And you've seen this movie many times before, right?
Really? I've only seen it once. Like I never really cared. Like I didn't first see this. That was like my renaissance of like discovering movies and then going outside my box and finding all these older movies. Like they go by generations or decades, like the 70s, 80s, 60s, 50s, those silent horror movies. So it was college when I first saw this, and then I watched the remake, the 2009 remake. But watching it, we could spell out later. But like I thought it was good, but there was just something missing.
It's not the best slasher movie. I mean, it's a fun movie, but when you think about it, this was made in 1981. There was a lot of slasher movies. There was a lot of things copying over when Halloween came out because Halloween was like the bigger slasher, and then there was all the ripoffs. Halloween, then you had Friday the 13th, which I believe Halloween and Friday the 13th are the two best slashers of the 80s. But then you had a whole bunch of other ones out there. So,
well, the whole themed. I love theme horror movies. Like I thought this like checked every box wise for that 80s theme slasher stuff. It checked every box.
Yeah.
But as because being the score horror, it missed that musical note for the killer. There was something missing to do that.
There really wasn't that much of a score for The Killer, really, when you think about it. So I can understand what you mean by how that's missing.
But yeah, some other like themed holiday stuff that was I saw earlier was there's like New Year's Evil. There's like New Year's Evil theme. There's April Fool's Day.
Yep.
Obviously Silent Night, Deadly Night. Bloody Birthday, 1981. Mother's Day.
Oh, I see Mother's Day. Mother's Day is crazy. Yeah,
I know.
I
saw that. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying I saw that too. I was just thinking it's a crazy movie. Go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah. I saw that Joe Bob Briggs did his his show. He had that on Mother's Day, and I was like, watched that. And I was blown away. I'm like, wow, that's something else.
That's actually a chapter. You ever heard of In Search of Darkness?
Yes. Okay,
I have the whole trilogy, the 80s trilogy. I have I've done a Kickstarter for each one. I've done also for the new ones coming out, the In Search of Darkness 90 through 94, or on 1990 through 94, which I just watched. Great. But what's cool about those documentaries is they give you a checklist, and they have a whole chapter of all the holiday themed movies through the 80s. Like, it's just a whole thing on where they just talk about all the different ones. So all the ones that you were reading out, I remember seeing in that documentary.
So the last two is obviously Prom Night and then Slumber Party Massacre.
No Halloween ones, though.
Halloween was the first one. You said those already. So
how about Trick or Treat?
This is all 80s themed.
No, I'm not. I am talking about Trick or Treat the 80s. The one with the you don't remember the 80s Trick or Treat?
No.
Oh yeah, take a look at that. It's Ozzy Osbourne did the soundtrack too and everything else. It's I think it's from the hot like 87 or 86 or 88 or something like that. I remember, but it's called Trick or Treat. Yeah, you were thinking I was talking about the Sam Trick or Treat. No, there was a Trick or Treat movie beforehand. It was about a metal. It was like almost like a heavy metal killer movie.
Yeah, 1986.
Yep. That was when they actually still kind of touched on the Halloween themes. But other than Halloween with Michael Myers, that's really the only other one. And then you had a couple other ones in there, like what you call Night of the Demons. Night of the Demons takes place at a Halloween party.
Yeah,
I love Night of the Demons. I think those are fun. I think the second one's actually better than the first one, believe it or not. I enjoy the second one. It was made in the early 90s, but actually I enjoyed the storyline better. But the first one's still classic. You know, it's just classic slashers. Well, not slashers, classic gore and everything.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah. So, I mean, other than the missing part of the score and everything, did you care for you could tell that the acting was bad. Of course, the acting is going to be bad. But it wasn't too bad. And also this part got to me, and you're probably going to laugh at me about this, but I forgot the dude, not Axel, who the killer is, because everybody knows that Axel's the killer, which he's very, very predictable on that. But the other dude that he's going against, him wearing the open shirt and the scarf, what the I saw that, I was like, God, that doesn't look right. What is this? Was this an 80s thing? Because it didn't look right on for that type of costume.
Does it annoy you when like Scooby-Doo or Fred wears that?
Yes, it does. That's probably where they got it from, actually, to tell you the truth, the scarf and everything.
Yeah.
But
so watch this movie again for the first time. The sheriff, Chief Newby.
Yeah.
I realized I saw him, and I put there's an old Goosebumps show, the Werewolf of Fever Swamp.
You talking about the Goosebumps from the 90s, the 90s kids show? Oh my God, I remember those, where they based every episode off a book.
Yeah, so I have all those books. I love reading those books when I was a kid, but I recognized him. I'm like, he's the fucking Swamp Hermit from that storyline. So I'm like, wow, he's so young. And I'm like, it's just lightning struck my brain. So I was impressed.
Were you a Bruce Cavill fan?
No.
You know, like My Teacher's an Alien, or I have the Monsters Ring, or anything like that?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay. So you read the Goosebumps. Okay, I was a Bruce Cavill fan. You have to look him up, and he's had a lot of books that I read that were kind of dark and went into like monsters, aliens, and stuff like that. And there's like Bruce Cavill's Book of Monsters, Bruce Cavill's Book of Aliens, or something like that. A whole bunch of different like mini stories. Take a look at it; it's worth it. But Goosebumps, I never read Goosebumps, but I remember watching the TV show. I remember, there was one I remember. It was the Night of the Night of the Dummy, I believe, that I've read. Yeah. I think I remember having to do that in school or something like that.
Good old Slappy.
But Bruce Cavill was I was a big fan of that when I was younger. But That's kind of funny that you saw him in that, because the actors in this movie, I didn't know anybody. I've never seen anybody in any, like, none of them reached out to me where I've seen him in something. The fat guy, though, which I enjoyed him. I actually liked the fat guy, especially when they were cooking the meat on the engine of the car. He looked familiar. And I was wondering, I was going to look him up and see what else he played in. Have you ever seen him in anything?
No, he's definitely Canadian. Like, I was laughing during afterwards. I asked you, like, can you imagine the torture if these actors were truly Canadian? How much torture it would be not to say A after a sentence?
Yes. Yeah, I remember. I remember that was also, wasn't that a thing that was talked about in the beginning of the theater?
What Brady was talking about?
I believe so. I think he said that too.
I don't think so. He was just going about his personal story with the movie.
Yeah, which that's another experience that I enjoy, is that when Gute took me to this is like a common thing that they do, is they take a picture of everybody behind the theater screen with the movie, like a still from the movie and everything else. And I thought that was really cool. It made me, I felt at home, to tell you the truth. I really enjoyed that. I'm looking forward to doing more of these. Seriously. I think this could be fun, just doing classic movies. But what do you think of the killer and his get up, just with the mining suit and everything? Because I think that is a great, I think that's really cool looking.
It worked. Yeah, it definitely works.
The breathing sounds.
Yeah, because obviously Star Wars came out in the late 70s. So you have that to go off of. It goes off the Halloween, Michael Myers, the deep breath behind the mask.
Yeah.
And so it kind of like went to the next level with the Myers thing. But I was like, it's fantastic.
I think it's great. And when you brought up Darth Vader, basically with the behind the mask and the breathing, because they really went hardcore into that, where you just heard that and everything else, and it was great. Although I'm going to say this, big complaint about that fight sequence on the train, on the mining train. The train. Oh yeah, when they're on. You remember the fight sequence at the end when they're the little mining train that they have to get back up to get out? It was so slow. Like it wasn't like fast paced. It's like they were both walking on the trains. They weren't running or trying to like move fast. I don't know if it was a safety thing, but it just felt, it didn't reach out to me that much. I was like, this needs to be a little bit more, exciting. It wasn't all that exciting. It was a very slow fight sequence.
There was no intensity. There's no like dread of like what they're gonna die. But yet I don't know. I feel like the mine overtook the characters. That was like the main character, the whole movie. Mm-hmm. The background was fantastic. All the different stuff, the atmosphere was tremendous. But it's just that lacking of the talent to match the dread, the intensity of like this shit's what they go down.
Yeah,
this killer's back. So even with all this, the sheriff hiding all the different hearts and trying to slow the dance down, and it's like, it works in a small town, but I mean, come on, that's back in the 80s. It doesn't. Well, this movie doesn't really hold up nowadays. I'm happy it has that cult following, but it just doesn't hold up anymore. I don't think.
Oh no, I agree. This isn't one of my favorites. So, like I said, I think more for the experience in the theater is what made it better. But this isn't something that I can watch not even every Valentine's Day. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that have a tradition of watching this every Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is really not my favorite holiday. I think it's a pointless holiday in my opinion. I think it's for the kids in high school or elementary school giving candygrams or whatever the fuck. But to tell you the truth, what was that?
It's a corporate holiday.
Yeah, corporate holiday. There you go. But I will say this, I was very impressed that with the budget that they had, that they filmed it in a real mine, which I do know a trivia fact. This was actually on the In Search of Darkness documentary, to the point where the miners actually cleaned up the mine for them. And they were like, why'd you all do this? We actually want it to look like a real mine, so they had to dirty it back up again to make it look like a mine. But I really liked how they used the mine as a backdrop, because that was basically mostly the last part of the movie, like the last 20, 30 minutes in the movie. And I thought that was fun, and how they filmed and everything else with the lights going in and out. They did a good job at that. It wasn't sets or anything like that. They actually went into the real environment, and that made it more realistic. Even though it's authentic. Yes, thank you. Better word. You're a simple mind, man. I don't come up with the good words like you do, or all the other guys in the pod.
So the mines actually took place in the Sydney mines in Nova Scotia.
Really?
Yeah, that's the real mines that took place at. That's where they filmed it.
Now, what kind of mines are they?
Actually, coal mines.
All right, so that's just coal mines. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I was always curious because I thought down in those mines, even being out there without all the face masks and everything else, it's actually dangerous for the actors, isn't it?
Yes.
So I figured that they got some
either black lung. It's the typical thing you see coal miners get. I mean, there was a threat of the methane gas. They mentioned during the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but no, that was a real thing they were scared of.
But they still did it.
Yeah.
They still did it. So, I mean, they were dedicated. And it worked out. It's probably the best part of the movie, in my opinion. And the other great thing about this movie are the kills. There's some really good kills in this movie. In fact, that's a question I will ask. What is your favorite kill? I'll ask that now. So, I mean, seriously, because it starts off, the movie starts off with a kill. And it's like almost like a little erotic moment, with this chick, and you got this guy with the mining suit. Like, oh, we're about to get down. We're about to see some tits. We didn't see any tits. No tits. We saw a girl take her shirt off or everything else, her blouse, everything else, and then get stabbed.
Censored gore. Motherfucker.
Yeah. I was a little shocked at that. I don't think there was any. This was no TNA in this horror film. I was a little shocked at that compared to the remake, which has like full fucking nude with a girl running around in the truck stop.
So the version we saw was the uncut version instead of the director's cut. Or no, the theatrical cut.
I thought we saw the uncut. I remember he said it was the uncut edition.
Yeah, it was the uncut versus we saw the uncut version rather than the theatrical version.
Yeah, which is basically you can even tell certain scenes where the film went a little bit lower quality, and those were the scenes that they added and everything else. And I know that they extended some scenes, like that one scene where the mine pick goes up the guy and it's coming out the eye. It didn't show that in the theatrical. You don't see the eye, which is it's crazy about the movies back then because the early 80s, the MPAA wasn't as hardcore. They got worse in the later 80s, like where they fucked up. Like I said, I think I said this when we were at the theater, Jason, Friday the 13th, New Blood. So they fucked up that movie. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, we did say. I remember saying that in our Friday the 13th. That's another great episode y'all should check out. It's actually one of our first season where Gute made his first intro in there for Friday the 13th saga. That was I think we did part 4, but we basically covered mainly all the movies. It was a fun episode. It was a good drink too. I remember the drink that I did. It was like some lake water that I made or something like that. Mm-hmm. But what was your favorite kill?
I'd say probably the infamous kill was the shower scene where he pushed the girl over the head and just spigot coming out, out of her mouth.
Yep, that's mine too.
The way they filmed it was tremendous, and that was actually true dread right there. You could feel the girl. It's just a tremendous acting job of like showing the dread and like the fear of what's coming. You didn't know what was coming, and it was perfect.
Oh yeah, I don't know. When you see all those fucking the mine suits going up and down and everything, I thought they did a really good job where they're just like dropping down and everything, and then she takes him to the shower, and I was expecting you have water just coming out through the mouth, and that's exactly what they did, and the guy's just terrified when he first sees it. It's a great shot.
Yeah, so obviously, Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out in 1974, so they borrowed from that too.
Well, I mean, more movies borrow from other movies. I mean, there's been so many shots and everything else. I mean, Friday the 13th. I mean, the kill count in this movie. What was the kill count in this movie?
Second.
Not including, well, I guess you can't include the one from the original Mind Killer, which I think was Warren. I don't remember the name or something like that. But there was the original one that killed in the beginning because that was his father got killed by the original the killer. What was the killer called?
This one, Axel?
Well, no, Axel is his name, but did they ever have a killer name, like a serial killer name for
no,
for the killer?
Warden. Henry Warden.
Yeah. So I know it was like that Warren. That's why Warden or something like that.
Yeah.
How many kills are all together?
12.
There's 12 kills. Okay.
12 kills.
Remember the woman that was put in the dryer, the old woman that was setting up for the party. The guy putting his head in the hot dog water, which, by the way, those hot dogs did not look appetizing at all.
They were not cooked.
What was that?
They were not cooked.
They looked horrible. They looked bland, and they just looked fucking rotten. And which is kind of a normal thing in horror movies where the budget's so small, where they have to redo shots and they're using the food over and over again. It could be food that's been rotten or smelling bad. It's a good shot to Aliens Bishop when he the stuff that he put in his mouth for when he got stabbed by the alien queen, that was all rotten milk, and he got extremely sick after that. So those hot dogs didn't look appetizing. I feel like they were rotten or something like that. But
so, question for you.
Go ahead.
Would you have sex in a mine?
Yeah. I'll have sex anywhere. I don't care. Believe it or not, it's someplace, you know, hiding from everybody. It's dark, and yeah, I wouldn't have no issue with that as long as you can get a mattress or some blankets, get comfortable. You know, go downtown. I have no problem with that. And plus, they got the little showers in there. I mean, you got a whole. I mean, which was funny because when the woman was the woman was killed in the shower, and the guy was like, "Oh, she's taking a shower. Let's, you know, yeah." There's some places in there. Would you?
Of course. Why not?
There you go. See? I mean, there's many places. Back of a truck. I mean, out in the woods, camping, anywhere. In a mine. And that's a romantic spot right there, right down there in the dark. Just waiting for somebody to kill you. So your favorite kill scene was the scene in the shower. Mine was the exact same thing. Well, shit. We got to see if we both have another different one. What is your favorite second kill scene? I want to see if we can have something different here. The woman in the dryer.
Laundromat.
I thought that was really interesting when the guy was walking in the laundromat and he was just like smelling something like what's that smell? And then he opens the dryer and you just see just a burned up lady inside the dryer, which I wonder if that would actually happen, you know, being charred up like that from a dryer heat. But probably, I mean, because it's extremely heat and then you're in a metal casing.
Yeah, for that type of like commercial equipment, yeah, that shit could heat up quick. So yeah, so maybe we kind of get the idea of it in Thanksgiving, you know, seeing the lady in the oven.
Yeah, yeah. Where she couldn't get it. I remember we had a whole discussion where the door was unlocked and she could have got out.
I guess the nail gun scene.
The nail gun scene?
Yeah.
The nail gun scene was good. Yeah, that was a good scene. The pick through the guy's underkit, like right under his chin and coming out the eye, and the eye just popping out was really cool too. Like I said, the gore effects in this were pretty good, especially when you had the human hearts inside the box of chocolates type of thing. But I thought that was funny how a lot of movies, which I think My Bloody Valentine took from Friday the 13th, the kids are always trying to get into a party and stuff like that, and that's when the killer comes and gets them. Slumber Party Massacre, you know, only movies like that. So this movie borrows from a lot. Now, like I said, it's not the best. It's worth seeing in the theater, though. I think it's great seeing in the theater. It makes the experience so much better, but there are better ones out there. Which I think we were going to talk about the question with our favorite seasonal movie, like a movie that's based off a holiday for a horror movie.
I'd go Mother's Day. That
really
just that brutal exploitation, like the sadistic mother and the two sons, and just it's just wow. It's like this, like for me, it's like mind blowing because I guess in my normal paradigm, I wouldn't think that shit would happen, but crazy shit happens in this world, and sometimes like seeing it on the big screen, you're like, I believe it. I can see that fucking happening. So I mean, just how that's, like I said, brutally, it's just exploited. And it's just perfect. It's like, wow. It leaves your jaw dropped. It's like just incredible.
Yeah. That movie gets kind of dark and very disgusting at some points and everything else. Mine would actually be an episode we actually did a couple weeks ago around Christmas time, Silent Night, Deadly Night. That one's always, I've always enjoyed that one. To me, that's got the three beasts. This one doesn't. That one has plenty of it. Plenty of it, actually. A lot of hairy ass, too, for some reason. But it's very good kill scenes in that movie. The Santa Claus, just the fucking antler scene. I mean, there's so many great kills in that one, and I enjoy the whole thing where it starts off as a kid and tells the whole story. That one just reached out. It's during the Christmas season. It's got that weird, like, dark Christmas music where it's like the bells jingling and stuff like that. I just loved it so much.
The filter they use, the filter used, and like that grayness, you feel like you're there, and it's like this is evil. There's something there. It's coming. You have all those Christmas elements, and it's like there is something evil coming. So
yeah.
I want to be different, so I picked Mother's Day.
No, I think that's a good pick. I mean, to tell you the fact, I was actually shocked that you've actually seen that one because I didn't think you've seen that one.
I saw it in the Joe Bob Plus drive-in. He did. There was a Father's Day. Have you seen the Stepfather?
Yes,
I love that. That actor does a tremendous job of like selling it, and like when he breaks the rule of like when he looks at the camera, because he just had an idea. I mean, it's just fascinating, just tremendous acting.
Now you see when it comes to there's so many great horror movies. Like you remember the Dentist movies? Yeah, those are good. The Silent Night, Deadly Night came out with like 5 movies. There's 5. Bill Moseley's in one of them. Even what's his name? Clint Howard, Ron Howard's brother's in one of them. That one really went interesting, but it's directed by Brian Yunza, who's actually one of my favorite directors. He's done a lot of great horror movies. Society. I don't know if you've ever seen that one with the body horror.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. He's done Return of the Living Dead 3, one of my favorites. And Brian Hughes has always done a lot of. He also did Bride of Reanimator and Beyond Reanimator, which I'm a huge fan of the Reanimator movies. I would love to see that in the theater. The original Reanimator. That would be fun to see. Did you already get a chance to see that one?
Fuck yes.
You saw that one in the theater?
You asked me the question, what is your favorite classic movie I've seen at the theater? I'm like, I've seen so many, dude. That's impossible for me to answer.
You got to come up with one, though. You got to come up with one. If you could pick one, what
Jaws.
reaches?
Seeing Jaws on the big screen, just the theatrical and just seeing it on the big screen was something else.
That would be really fun on the big screen. I've always actually wanted to see one of those on the screen where you're actually in the water.
Every 4th of July, yeah, because Matt from Beard Law Studio, he put in a group chat, that whole thing. Who's in? I'm like, I'm all in. Like, let's do it. It's like, you can go. I'll be watching you.
I would love that. I remember that they had like a thing where you could sit in a fucking inner tube, and everybody just sitting in inner tubes out of the water, watching Jaws on a big screen. And Sammy, my wife, who's a huge Jaws fanatic, she loves that movie. I even bought her the freaking Jaws Lego set. She loves it. Great movie. But seeing it on the big screen, the fact that you got man, you've seen some good ones. That's why you've opened my world. And I'm going to be going to the theater to see classic movies now, even movies that I've probably seen a million times on my Blu-rays or VHS in the past and everything else. But the experience, the theater experience, that's what I'm suggesting everybody. If you have an area or a theater that does classic movies in the theater, go fucking do it because it makes it so much better, especially when they serve food.
I've been trying to say that for years, man. So I'm happy I changed your life and changed.
I know, and that's the thing. Gute has been he's been sending me messages. He's been sending me all the schedules. Hey, I got this schedule here. I'm like, oh man, I can't make that. Oh, I got a show Friday. Well, guess what? Things are changing. I'm going to make it happen now because I didn't realize how fun it was until I did this, and I want to drink next time. I want to actually have some real alcoholic drinks.
Like I told you, you come out there, anything you get, it's on me. So I don't mind at all.
You're a brother, man.
But yeah, it's usually in July. We show that every year for July. Obviously 4th of July, we show Jaws.
So every 4th of July, they show Jaws. Is it normally on a? Well, we'll talk about more of that in the future.
It's in that month. Usually they'll have it for like a week or two period.
Oh, okay.
We do it for Psycho Cinema, and then we do it for the other general audience if they don't want to come for Psycho Cinema or whatever the time works for them.
Actually, you know what? That's a question. Is there a 4th of July horror movie? I know there was Uncle Sam or something like that.
Yeah, Uncle Sam. Joe Bob played that a couple years ago for the last drive-in.
I think that was like a early 90s direct-to-video movie.
It was.
Yes. Yeah. I remember seeing that one. I remember it had like the hologram cover on the VHS when I saw it at the video store. Because I remember also like Jack Frost. Remember the Jack Frost Blu-ray cover? Oh, yeah. It showed like a demon like hologram snowman, and it actually was just a big white snowman. It was like horrible. It was so bad. Or Carnosaur. You remember Carnosaur?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My channel.
So that's the thing, man. I remember me and Stu did a whole talk about this where we talked about the last Blockbuster and how we miss being able to walk into a video store and just look at all the covers of the VHSs and look at the back and see what it's got and everything else. And I remember seeing so many movies and seeing to this day, seeing them in the theater, that even the ones that were just for direct to video, but you get to see them in the theater. That's what's cool. You said you saw Uncle Sam in the theater?
No, I saw it for the last drive-in.
Oh, for the last drive-in with Bob.
Joe Bob Briggs, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because the stuff I learned from him, he shows movies and like he just pulls classic because his goal is to show the like originality of something, like the first one of that movie. So I love his themes and stuff he comes up with. It's fantastic.
If Ed Wood is ever in the theater, let me know, please.
Okay.
Have you ever, I don't know if that's ever run across, but that's one of my favorites.
It has. I was just trying to pull the year. Because, like, so.
94.
No, the year we showed it for Psycho Cinema. I know we've shown it.
Oh, okay.
So, I was just trying to pull the year we did it. Because, so, like, when COVID happened, when COVID hit, the theater shut down for only like 6 to 8 months.
Right.
And then it reopened. They replaced the whole air conditioning system. Yeah, they had the different spacing and stuff like that, but they were showing classic movies to try to get people to come back.
Yeah.
So I swear to God, I was there 3 times a week just watching classic movies. Just finally seeing all like the original Star Wars movies and like just everything you can imagine.
Yeah.
Star. So I saw it on the big screen during COVID.
That is awesome. I know you saw old 1989 Batman in the theater, right?
Oh yeah, I bring my son every time they show it, and like that and Batman Returns every December, Christmas. So,
what would you say is the most? I know we're talking about Sunday. I mean, My Bloody Valentine, but we're getting into classic movie talk, and this is what we enjoy doing. So this episode is all over the place, but you know what? That's the way we do things. What is the movie that has probably been the most packed when it comes to a classic movie? I assume Jaws, or
for Psycho Cinema, we have a good showing. Like Nosferatu, like seeing it on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
theater was packed.
Really,
theater was packed on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day that night. When I saw Nosferatu, it was packed.
Which, by the way, me and Gute did a great episode on Nosferatu, and that movie is amazing. I love that movie. I've watched it twice now at home since I've got it digitally, and that movie's beautiful. It's a beautiful movie, and I still think you should make your tradition of watching it late night on Christmas, you know, because
probably will.
I'm going to.
God bless. It'll blow you away. Like Mandy. Like we show that, it is sold out.
Mandy with Nicolas Cage?
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
I love that movie. Like Faye, the head of Psycho Cinema, like she's so passionate about that movie. We show that movie every year.
How about Color of Space?
I've seen that.
That's good.
That was almost sold out. But it's like, it depends on we were in a smaller theater, but like some of the big ones, bigger ones, if it's like Nightmare Before Christmas,
sold out. I know that one's gonna be sold out.
So it depends, but we've sold out a lot.
So wait a minute, that's owned by Disney though. They were able to get that
special anniversary. It was a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Just hearing Danny Elfman, just his score on the surround sound. Oh my God, it was just heaven.
Yeah, I would love to see. I mean, there's a lot of movies from Tim Burton that are great, but one thing Beetlejuice, the original classic Beetlejuice, I would love to see that in the theater. The classic one, not the sequel, the classic. But
every year in October.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I can understand that Halloween. Do they do like a Halloween marathon where they watch all the Halloween movies, or they just do the first one?
We show the original one on Halloween.
Okay, so that's perfect.
Impossible to see, but you gotta give candy out.
So have you went and saw it on Halloween Day?
No.
You should.
Got kids, man. It's all about them.
Oh no, you could take your kids with you. I mean, you're opening Bruce's World.
My daughters couldn't take it.
Yeah.
Like The Substance was sold out. Phantasm, Pumpkinhead's always sold out. American Werewolf in London, that was sold out.
American Werewolf in London would have been fun in the theater.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 78 one.
Oh, Jesus.
Donald Sutherland? Yeah, 976 Evil.
That's what you told me about. Yeah, the Robert Englund directed movie.
Yeah,
which was cut up to hell from what he said. He said that the studio really took over that movie and he didn't get to release it the way that he wanted to.
Yeah, you could tell. Yeah, we had a special guest that evening. We had Rebecca McKendry, who directed the movie Glorious. Stu's talked about it when he discovered it.
Yeah,
but it's a fantastic movie. She did.
You think it's funny that they released this new movie, Hard Eyes, Basically, almost. I wonder if it's almost like if it steals a little bit from My Bloody Valentine. I know Stu went and saw it. I figured that you were going to see it sometime.
I'm gonna see it this weekend. So, yeah, I've heard it's a rom-com like slasher. It's legit good. So I've heard good things about it. So I want to see it. I'll see it this weekend.
When you see it, I want you to tell me if there's any like takeaways that they took from My Bloody Valentine, because I assume there has to be. It might be like a same kill. I don't know. They might not. They might try to make it more original. So
yeah.
But man, there's so many great movies. I would love to see Event Horizon in the theater. Event Horizon is one of my favorites.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that one is a good one. So yeah, give me the schedule, man. I know there was something about 7 playing that, and I know Fatal Attraction was playing at one point.
7 was a few weeks ago. It was a Friday night.
The Shining.
Every October, man.
So Shining is very up. So what movies are normal in every October other than Halloween and The Shining?
Beetlejuice.
Okay.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
I figured that. Not any of the Friday the 13th movies.
Not really. It's just we only really play those on the actual days. The Friday 13th. We'll show that Friday.
Okay. Try to think some other great Halloween themed movies, or not Halloween themed movies, just movies that would be good for Halloween. I wouldn't mind seeing the original Scream. I can care less about the other ones, but the original Scream would be fun to see in the theater. And we're going into 90s realm, but still, I mean, there were some great 90s horror flicks.
Yeah, we just had a Scream 1 and 2 doubleheader.
Scream 1 and 2? Yeah. Are you a fan of this Scream 2?
I enjoy them.
I see. The thing is, I couldn't get into I love Scream 1. Scream 1 is great. I watched Scream 2, Scream 3, it got worse. And then I think I watched Scream 4 and I dropped off. I know how popular those movies have gotten, but to me, they will never touch the original, which is kind of normal for a lot of movies, is the original is always the best. I mean, there's very rare where a sequel is actually better than the original. I mean, you go for The Godfather, Aliens, in my opinion. Everybody loves it. It's kind of like a debate between that one. But, there's a lot of movies where the sequels, Terminator 2. A lot of people think Terminator 2 is better. I think Terminator would be great to see in the theater. I would love to see Terminator in the theater. The original one.
I've seen that.
The Thing.
That's every October.
Yeah. So what are the things you want to talk about? I'm a little jealous of that, because The Thing actually would be amazing in the theater, especially, oh, God, that would be beautiful to see. Especially if they did a double header with The Thing and The Thing prequel.
I don't know about that one. I
have respect for that one. I just don't respect the CGI.
I do as well, but I don't know. I was puzzled and befuddled by the fact that I don't know if we're gonna get the rights, or I know we've shown it. That's why I've heard of it. Then I watched it on my TV for the first time. I kicked myself for not going to see it, but
so what other things you want to talk about on My Bloody Valentine? Other than, what did you think of Axel the Killer? Do you think he made a good, especially at the end where he does that little laugh and everything when he cuts his arm off?
I was just going to bring that up. Like the way that ended, it left it open for a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't do it for some reason. Like it blows me away, because it did well. It made money, like you said earlier, at the beginning part of the show. How come they didn't go off of that and try to make more of this?
Well, this was a Canadian movie. I don't know why they didn't. Because usually if a horror movie is successful, they're going to make either a sequel or a direct to the Saw.
It's Canadian.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Saw movies. They bore me. I'm sorry. I know Stu would probably look at me and say you're stupid. He would, but I saw Saw 1. Good movie. Interesting. I saw Saw 2. I fell asleep in the theater. I don't fall asleep in the theater that much. It's very rare. It bored me. I saw it, Sammy, when me and Sammy were dating. And I remember we went to a college theater or something like that, down where George Mason or where I don't remember where it was at. And I think we were with some friends, and I was snoring. I fell asleep. And then I have not watched any of the movies since then. Wow. I've never seen all the other Saw movies. I have had no interest in them. Yeah, I know they have really creative kills, and maybe someday I'll do like a little marathon and maybe give them a shot again. But, I remember I saw Hostel and I thought, fuck Saw. Hostel's better. I enjoyed Hostel with directed by Eli Roth, but And then Hostel 2 was going into a different territory, but Saw never really matched to me. I just couldn't get into him. The first movie's good. And it's directed by James Wan, and he's a good horror director.
Oh, yes.
I mean, he did great on The Conjuring. I enjoy The Conjuring Part 2. I think The Conjuring 2 is really good. I love it how we're supposed to be talking about My Bloody Valentine, and we're just talking about other movies.
I think we hit all the main parts for that movie. I mean,
oh yeah, there's really not much to talk about. I mean, other than the get up on the killer, I thought was great. I thought he looks great. The kills were good. The setting in the mine, but there was a lot missing to the story. There was a lot they could have done a little bit better. I thought the party scenes could have been a little more. I think they should have put tits in the movie. I'm not going to lie. I'm sorry. A horror movie needs to have its tits. There's got to be at least one tit shot in a horror movie, and there was none. So that's a failure on that point. Call me a pervert, but sorry. There's got to be tits in a horror movie. The 3 Bs. Breasts, boobs.
So Adam will get a kick out of this, as Steve Pies Taster would say, "Show me them titties."
Oh, that's great. But no, I guess we can go into the critical and pints because we've covered most of this movie and got a little bit more movie talk about this. But like I said, the experience was great, and that's what raises my enjoyment to this movie was the theater experience. Because watching it on Blu-ray, like I said, I never made a option to watch it over and over again. I'll go first. I have no problem going first. But for enjoyment for this movie, it was probably about a 3 when I saw it, owning it, having it and everything else. But seeing it in the theater, it raised it up a half. I'll give it a 3.5. The enjoyment was fun. The theater experience was great. Would I do it again a couple years down the road? Yeah, I would love to go see it in theater again. It makes it for a fun experience. Enjoy a beer, enjoy some food, and watch some My Bloody Valentine kills. It's corny. It's cheesy. The acting sucks. It's not the best acting. The kills, though, are pretty decent. There's some good kills in there. I mean, it matches up to a lot of the kills that are in the Friday the 13th movies and Halloween movies and all the other ones. But is it the best? No. I mean, there's better ones out there when it comes to seasonal movies. So critically, this movie would probably get like a 2. And the reason why I'm giving it a 2 is because it's not a good movie. But there are things that they did well, like shooting in a real mine. They didn't do sets. It didn't look fake. That was realistic to me. The fact that they shot the whole thing in a mine at the bottom. The scenes with the guys, when they're talking to each other, especially Axel and his other buddy, how they're basically fighting over this chick. It's like a whole, what is it, tri-love or what is it? When you got 2 guys fighting over a girl. I know there's a certain word for it.
God damn it, just escaped me. I said this during our Christian film.
You did. I remember. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was, but Love Triangle. Love Triangle. That is where they got the whole love triangle between that, which is common in horror movies and stuff like that. But critically, it's not a great movie, but enjoyable. It's if you want a fun little gory, just have fun. No tits. Sorry, there's no tits in this. But if you want to go see tits, go see Friday the 13th Part 5. New Blood. It's got the greatest set of tits ever. But seriously, there's it's fun. It's watch it on Valentine's Day. Could you see this being watched only other times of the year? Or do you think this is mainly meant to watch in February? You think this should be a February type horror movie?
If you have that type of tradition, yeah. But I mean, you can watch this any time of the year.
Okay. So yeah, 3.5 and a 2. That's where I'm gonna go with that. I mean, I think that's pretty high for a horror movie for enjoyment standards. I mean, like I said, I'm really shocked I even gave it a 3.5, but I guess I'm just going by, like I said, the theater experience made it better for me. Gute did it to me. If I just watched this at home, it probably would have got a 2.5, 3.
Yeah.
That's probably what I got for enjoyment. But the theater experience made it go up a notch. So that's my review. It's all you, Gute.
So yeah, like I said earlier, I'm still blown away that this movie didn't do well so commercially as like Halloween or Friday the 13th. I mean, I do agree. It does belong in like the golden age of slashers. It belongs there. It's not like the top end. It's like right there in the middle. I think it does a good job with that. On an enjoyment scale, I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5 for enjoyment.
Okay.
For me, it didn't have the that relentless, like the pulse pounding intensity, the energy that keep you on the edge of your seat. Like that being said, like it shines in the atmosphere. I love a movie that's directed, but it's filmed in a dark place, but you can actually see what's happening.
Yes.
Rather than it's showing in the dark, you can't see shit, and you're just like, God, this director sucks. What the fuck's he doing? So
I have to interrupt there. You really have a strong point there because there's a lot of horror movies where it's in the dark and you can't see fucking shit. Alien versus Predator Requiem. What the fuck? Like you can't see shit. You just see shadows. And this one, you actually can see people. You have a good point there. That's a strong point. I didn't even thought about that. So that's better lighting on the 80s than it was to movies that come out now. There's movies that are now coming out, horror movies. Like, what the fuck? Is my TV like fucking broken or something like that? Like, you can't see shit. Why do these directors do this? So, good point.
So yeah, the decision to have it in the actual coal mine was a stroke of genius. It's just perfect planning.
Agreed.
Unlike, you know, a summer camp or just like the suburban neighborhood, I feel like, you know, the mine is an added character, giving it, you know, that's just the breathing entity, just the dark confining areas. You know, it kind of gives you, back in the 80s, I can only imagine, I wish I could like sometimes like have a time travel machine just to go back and see the audience reaction to it, you know? Just to get a better feel for the movie, because that's like the missing element. Like when I watch movies nowadays, like I can only imagine just actually watching the movie and seeing people's reaction. Like the guy from Late Night with the Devil, what's his name?
I know exactly who you're talking about. He's fuck.
David Dalsmastian.
Yes.
So he, for one of this one show on Shudder, it was like the 101 most like greatest horror movie moments.
Yeah.
He talks about his mom seeing the Phantom of the Opera in theaters and the legit like horror, being scared to death of like, you know, seeing the Phantom.
Which one?
The original one.
I was thinking about the Robert Englund one. I'm sorry.
No, the original one.
Okay.
His mom saw that in theaters, and like Tom Savini talking about his mom seeing like movies and like how that shaped him and gave him that motivation to give the audience that same feeling.
Yeah.
So that has a special place for me when I hear an actor or like someone to like, you know, their level, Tom Savini, you know, David Desmastian, just speak about that. It's like that, like, oh, it makes me so happy to hear, because they care so much and they have that element, they're that focus to hit on.
Mm-hmm. You remind me of that with Jurassic Park.
Yes,
because I tell my kids about Jurassic Park and how when we saw it, it was astounding to see a big dinosaur walking on screen, and it looked so real to us. And it's always gonna be a memory in your head seeing that in the theater. So when you see something like that, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm.
So that's my enjoyment, a 2.5 out of 5. Because like, you know, just I do enjoy watching this, but it's like it doesn't go above that. It's just that there's highlights, but there's just stuff missing. Like I said earlier, but critically, I give this a 4 out of 5. Critically,
whoa,
because they check off so many different things you would do for a horror movie.
Okay,
but like I said earlier, they missed out on so many different things. Like, unlike, you know, the slashers at the time, you knew the killer was from the start.
Yeah,
they tried to do the whole mystery thing, and like the end, I feel like it kind of like fell on its face. So unless you have a keen eye for it, you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, the audience, I'm sure the audience didn't have a effing clue who the killer was. So I guess
it was kind of predictable.
But back then, though, I can only imagine. Like for us nowadays, we've seen so many horror movies, we can tell the tells and the, you know.
Yeah, we're desensitized to it.
So, but just the killer not having a iconic musical theme, like that was a big miss right there. This could have separated and put it to the upper echelon of movies.
Yeah, because mainly in this movie, it was mainly silence. There was a lot of scenes where it was just silence, but you know, sometimes that's good. Sometimes where it's got like the sound effects in the background, like the beginning scene, all you just hear is that breathing. Yeah. That breathing while this woman is like, you know, getting all hot and bothered, and everything's about to get fucked by the mind killer and then get stabbed. But it's just nonstop, just pure quietness. And the thing is, seeing in a theater, that actually really helped. Just the sound effects on the side, there was no music. So sometimes that could be good, but I understand what you're saying. There was no theme, and he could have used a theme.
Oh yes. But yeah, that's my only flaw to it. But I think critically, the directors, you know, obviously using the coal mine, the actors, they weren't the best, but yet they played their roles. They played what they were given.
Yeah,
they checked off almost every box for the time period. So I mean, it's definitely a good holiday theme movie to watch for slashers.
Right.
I'm happy it has a cult following. I mean, yeah, it's obviously the remake was 2009 and it was 3D, all that fun stuff. But I mean, yeah, just to wrap this in a bow or with a pickaxe, it's enjoyment of 2.5. All right, enjoyment 2.5 and critical 4.
That's a drop right there. I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that. But the thoughts that you said do point out. I mean, a lot of those what you said pointed out really well because the whole the theme and everything else missing. But still, I'm still shocked. I was expecting like maybe a 3. I wasn't expecting a 4. But sometimes that's funny how that's what I love about BAF reviews because there's the enjoyment and critical. Because sometimes a movie could suck so bad, but critically it's made really, really well. So enjoyment could be like a 1 and critical could be like a 5 or a 4, but then it could be completely the other way around, which is common with with horror movies where the enjoyment's high and the critical's low. You gave this one a high critical, so there you go. I mean, that's one of those rarities right there.
Because yeah, obviously we watched so many horror movies. I have so much appreciation for what they hit for that time period, what they shot and the practical effects.
Yeah.
We didn't even really go into that, but just it looked like it was shot practically and it was so well done, but yet there's something missing to me. So it's just it hurts me, but it's a good movie. Definitely go see it if you haven't seen it. But
just wasn't. No, I understand. I completely understand. Like I said, I can't see myself watching this again next year. I can't see myself watching this maybe a year after that. But maybe like 3 or 4 years down the road, yeah, sure, I'll go see it again, especially in the theater. I think seeing it in the theater is better.
Oh yes,
in my opinion. I'm like I said, I'm looking forward to future ones, classic movies I already own to see them in the theater. Nightbreed, that's another one. Hellraiser. I want to see Hellraiser in the fucking theater. Hellraiser, that would be good. Have you seen that one in the theater?
Oh yes.
Oh, see, that one would be great. And Hellraiser, especially if they do a double hitter with Hellraiser 2, Hell on Earth. No, Hell on Earth is part 3. Sorry, Hellbound. Hellbound. Although Hellraiser 3 is fun too.
We haven't done like a double header, but we've shown those 2 movies. I've seen those 2 in theaters.
I feel like those 2 are almost like one movie because it's like almost like it's a direct sequel, but it really fixes the story. Hellraiser 3 was just them having a good time. Yeah. That's basically Pinhead having a good time and coming up with some weird ass Cenobites because the Cenobites in that one, like CD head and stuff like that, a little out there, but it was still fun. I mean, he had a good time. Doug Bradley. Is it Doug Bradley? No, I'm sorry. It's not Doug Bradley. I don't know why I'm getting my names wrong for Pinhead. I should know this too. Are you looking it up? Yeah, please, because now I know maybe it is Doug Bradley. It's not Doug Bradley.
It is Doug Bradley, yeah.
Good. I thought I was going crazy. I was thinking of another actor, and I thought I got all mixed up with the dude from Hellboy and Doug Jones. I was getting Doug Jones and Doug Bradley mixed up. So good, I was right. But well, that's our episode on My Bloody Valentine, the theater experience, as I would call it. Gute, thank you for having me out there, man. That was so much fun, seriously. And thank you for joining us for this great episode. This was down memory lane with movies, and looking forward to future ones. And interesting reviews too. Wasn't expecting the 4. Was not expecting that, but Gute's got a point. He does have a point. Make sure you check the notification on our channel, and also make sure to comment or let us know what we're doing. If we're doing a good job, tell us if we suck. Tell us if we're good. I don't know. I just want to hear something. Seriously.
Tell us your opinion of the movie. If you like it, it's okay to disagree with us. We love that, actually. So we love to see your thoughts. I mean, if we answer back, please go back and forth banner with us. It's fun.
Yeah, please. I actually love the comments and somebody writing something down and going back, and it's fun. So please let us know. And make sure to check out all the other episodes. There's a lot of great episodes coming out for BAF. We got the animated series coming out here soon, which the first movie is going to be Beavis and Butthead Do America. So that's going to be a fun one to do. And a lot of Disney movies that are interesting that I've never seen that I have to watch. But yeah, that's what the guys picked. I think we got Treasure Planet. We got Wall-E. We got Cars, which I've never seen. I've never seen Cars. Yeah. Are you shocked?
I haven't seen it either.
Oh, good. Thank you. Because everybody says I should have seen those, but I'm not really into animated movies all that much. So
I'm not into kid animated movies. Like the DC universe has some good animated movies. I love those movies.
Yeah, but do you have any animated movies that you grew up with that you enjoy? Like All Dogs Go to Heaven, or you know, like the whole like Land Before Time, or you know, The
Never
Secret.
seen those.
You're like nodding your head. No, you've never seen those?
No.
Wow, you've seen Beavis and Butthead Do America though.
Yes.
Okay, see, at least you saw that one. So that's a classic right there. But seriously, check us out for our future episodes, and me and Gute will definitely be doing some more future episodes. We always enjoy me and him doing the banner and having the movie talk. So we're going to go ahead and sign off, guys, and see y'all later.
Pull your trash cans out.
I was waiting for it. Thank you for listening to Barrel Age Flicks. If you like our show, please leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Guys, this helps out enormously. Give us a follow on Instagram at Barrel Age Flicks Podcast. If you would like to send us a special film request, please contact us via Instagram and we will give you a personal shout out on the show. We are also on Facebook and Twitter. Our podcast is available on Apple Podcasts. We are officially also on YouTube in video form. And also Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Audible, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. Make sure you check out Barrel Age Chicks, our spin-off show where you get the girl's perspective. Subscribe to our Patreon for uncut video and early access to our podcast. Special thanks to Carl Casey at White Bat Audio on YouTube for his awesome music. This guy fucking rocks. Check him out. Want to give a shout out to Sammy, one of our guest hosts on the show who does our amazing album artwork. Thank you, Sammy. Hope you join us for our next episode. Later, guys.